Right, we're going to try some quick missions in the MiG-19. So, I still haven't quite memorized the startup procedure, but it should be relatively simple. I don't know how to work the older version of the ARC this thing has, but whatever, we'll just roll with it. So, we gotta start up. I need... that should all be on. I think most of these need to be on. These are our fuel pumps. Let's go ahead and turn all of them on. I don't know if I actually need all of them on. I think that's on. It's hard to tell if the oxygen is on or off. We're going to assume that it's on. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Am I carrying missiles? Yes, I am. Helps if you remember to actually hit the engine starter, hey. There we go. Looks like we can actually start both at once. So we're gonna do that. AUG set. Looks like pretty much everything is set that needs to be for now. Arm the weapons once we're in the air. It's my... something. Thought that was a low altitude warning, but I guess not. Alright, off we go. Moment here, I think I'm on the wrong frequency. This is like the world's slowest scramble. Okay, well, they're not going to speak to me, apparently. Oh, or I have the radio volume turned all the way down, that would do it too. Hey, John. I can't even remember what frequency I'm supposed to be on. Some pilot I am. Whatever, we'll roll from this end. I just need to get this thing off the ground, so we'll just go from here. The old squeaky joystick, as always. So I think my AWACS is on the second frequency, but I'm not 100% certain. See new Mount & Blade campaign video? No, I haven't been keeping up that much with news about Mount & Blade. I've heard they've actually put out something which suggests it might get released, you know, before we all die of old age, so that's pretty exciting, but... Alright, thanks. I'll have to catch that later. Should be nice to see. Well, by the time I taxi to the end of the runway, the B-52 will probably be bombing me, but we'll see how we go here. So, from what I can tell, the ailerons on this... Oh shit, that's what I need. Aileron booster. I think I've already got that on. The ailerons on this and the rudder are both full manual control, whereas the stabilators, I believe, are hydraulic, because I was trying to mess with them with the engine off, and the stabilators wouldn't move, everything else did. So that's good to know, you know, just in case. Go down to the next taxiway, I think. I think that's the taxiway ahead of me. That should go to the end of the runway, which is right about there. Or it might be the next one down. Please tell me this isn't a dead end. As you can probably tell, I don't fly from the Crimps very often, so I don't know its layout very well. And reading airfield charts is for nerds, so we're just gonna hang a right here, and I nearly overshot that. This thing does appear to have effective wheel brakes, which is good with the way I taxi. Okay, I think this is the end of the runway, yeah. Yep, there's the tyre marks. Let's line up. Good enough. This thing has a tendency to yaw on its takeoff roll, so fingers crossed it won't be too bad here. We're just going to double check the flaps are in the takeoff position, and we're going to put some power on, get the burners lit. There we go. Yeah, it's just trying to wander left a little. Pretty short takeoff roll in this aircraft. It's quite pleasant. I'm just impressed with the MiG-19 in general. It flies very nicely. Please tell me I can contact my AWACS. Okay, we'll try this frequency. There we go, 167 for 90. I kinda wish the Soviets had put the slip ball on the gun sight, like the Americans did for the F-4, so I could read it without looking down. Because you do need to use a bit of rudder on this thing, it does adverse yaw. By the way, I'm going to be going to an air museum sometime soonish. I think I should do their combat sim or their flight sim. Combat sounds far more radar based, so I might go for flight. Hope they have the F5 or something similar. I went to, shit, where was it? It was the Alberta Aviation Museum back home in Edmonton. They've got like little sims set up now in a mock-up. It's not like a full mock-up Sabre cockpit, but it's the ejection seat out of the Sabre. And I think they're running like old flight simulator only. Probably 2000 or something. I had to go on that, but I didn't know what any of the control binds were, so it didn't go that well. But it was neat. I got to sit in an actual Sabre ejection seat while playing a flight sim. Okay, Okay, we're gonna gain some altitude here. This thing really does climb quite well, especially for its age. Increase this turn a little too. What heading did he give me? I really need to learn to actually listen to what the AWACS tells me. 175 for 70 at 12,000. 12 kilometers. Okay, as we climb, we're gonna flip on all of these here. We're gonna cock both guns once the game unfreezes. There we go. Two red lights. Actually, I might leave that. No, I'll leave it uncaged. That's fine. .166 for 30. We're going to be under him. If you could only have one, 19 or 21, 21. This is a really nice plane, but the 21's a bit more flexible and a bit more viable in multiplayer. Also, I like the 21 better. Like, I've actually grown a pretty decent appreciation for the 19 since Razbam announced it. I was never into it before, but I actually find it quite interesting now. But the 21 is definitely more my jam. There he is. It's a B-52. Get a little closer before we fire these things. We're just blazing through the fuel. We're in full afterburner. Have been since takeoff. I will say this has a lot better visibility out of the cockpit. Like, holy shit, in every direction. It is just heavenly compared to the 21. We're going to ditch out a burner now. Just drop back to mill. I think one went for a flare, the other hit. He's still flying. He's dumping fuel, but he's still flying. Curiously, I cannot pick him up on the radar. Saw sparks there. We got him with the fridge launcher. This thing is wild. Well, these things are wild. I got two of them. The Dayfighter had three. Three NR30s would throw the same weight of shot as two M61s. They are obscenely powerful. Okay, he's missing a wing. Oh look, there's our home airfield right under us. Oh, actually no, I stand corrected. That is Krasnodar Center, Pashkovsky in the distance. Where's Krimsk? Krimsk should be around here somewhere. Krimska's on a lake shore, I'm pretty certain. Not that one. Is it the one behind me? We'll figure it out. So we can get rid of that. Turn the radar off. Weapon switches can all go off. And we go to the other frequency. Su-25 to 60. Yeah, it's over that way somewhere. Flower field with a wing streak. I've taken this thing under the oil rigs off Sochi. It was actually pretty easy. It's a well-behaved plane until you get it slow. And by slow, I mean really slow. It's pretty stable. Its biggest problem handling-wise is that, and this isn't really a problem, I guess, it drops a wing in the stall every single time, usually the left wing. Whereas the MiG-21 will not wing drop, it's almost impossible. So, in the 21, the stall's more controllable, but in this you actually know you've stalled, whereas the 21, if you're not looking, you won't notice. Is that heading like 2.6 something for fucking... who cares? I'll see it. It's by a lake. Navigation? Who needs that? Will say I'll laugh my ass off if they use DCS for their combat sim. I wouldn't be surprised, to be fair. Yeah, the guns on this are wild. Just fucking wild. They're really hard to hit with because they have a very low muzzle velocity and they also fire quite slowly, but my god, if you hit... like I said in Tawny's chat, if anyone in here now wasn't there to see me say it, I hit an F5 on the wing with one shell, and it fucking killed that cunt's entire family lineage back like 5 generations. He was just deleted from existence. The guns in this sound so good. Like, they are as powerful as they sound. They do, though, I'll have to pretend to not know what I'm doing and select the F5. I want to go to, like... I won't be able to do it here, because fuck all places in this country would even have one at all, but I want to go to one of the air museums that allows you to climb into shit with a MiG-21. Especially if it's a MiG-21 BIS, and just climb into it and go through the startup procedure and watch them shit themselves. Like, oh no, he's gonna steal the fucking plane. Although it might tip them off if I ask beforehand, there's definitely no ground power, no battery, and no fuel in this, right? Okay, I think it's the next lake along. We'll just ask for an update. Didn't happen on stream, it didn't happen. Yeah, I'll do it after this. I probably won't be able to do it as easily as I'd like. I actually have a replay of it, because I did a really good landing afterwards too, so I was well pleased with myself. But yeah, it was actually not too bad once I got the hang of not being too fast, because I kept overshooting originally. I had the same issue I had when I was fighting you. The only downside to my beautiful landing I did is that I went to open the kneeboard to check some radio freaks, and I fat-fingered the P button, which, not like, it doesn't just pop the cover on the on the drogue chute, it actually pops the chute as well with one button press. So I may have lost my drogue chute as I was flying towards the airfield, but it's alright. The brakes on this are pretty good, so I didn't really need it. I'm going to have to unbind that, I think. I don't use the keyboard bind for it in this, because it's like, it's right here. It's easy to click. Same with the MiG-21, the drogue chute release is really easy to get to. Okay, so I think it is on the far shore of this lake. We'll see it when we get closer. Yeah. I know, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure if I did actually do that and started going through the startup procedure, I would get a real-life, hey, what are you doing? Which would make it all worth it. Definitely. How long does the radar work in this? I don't think this one's limited. Or if it is, I haven't encountered the limit yet. I've just kind of left it on and not worried about it. But the radar in this is also considerably less powerful than the MiG-21. So I'm not 100% certain, I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure if it just hasn't been implemented yet with certain things, or if the MiG-19 actually is, you know, not affected by it. But as well as that, I've noticed that negative or zero-G doesn't starve the engine like it does in the MiG-21. I don't know if that's historically correct in the 19, or if it's just something Razbam haven't got around to yet. I will give them credit, they are actually putting in the effort to finish this thing, you know, in a reasonable time span. The only really weird behavior I've noticed from it so far is when you eject, it starts doing backwards outside loops. This is repeatable, I've done it twice now and seen this. I don't know how that even works. Presumably the same way the Harrier's belly-out cartwheel works. It's just some weird, like, edge case that if the flight model gets into it, it breaks. There's the airfield. Yeah, it basically is a radar gun site. It's two separate antennas. One is your tracking antenna, and one is your search antenna, so it's got like the most ghetto form of track while scan on Earth. You can't even, like, there's no TDC to range out. It will lock the first thing it sees within a 4-kilometer box off the nose. That's what the little rectangle here is. That is your lock zone. Anything that flies in there gets locked. There's no way to manually lock or unlock targets. It's basically just a radar ranging site. It's not for missile guidance. At least not in this variant. I believe the PM was used for missile guidance with the K5, which was a fucking beam rider. Work that one out. Okay, we're coming in pretty quick, so we're going to ditch some speed. Need to get together and rob an air museum. I mean, not to breach TOS or anything by encouraging illegal activity, but that'd be pretty cool. I may or may not be down to be the getaway pilot. Take missiles and drop tanks? Yep, so the two pylons I got on at the moment are for the R3s, well, the K13s. And then there's another 2 hard points for fuel tanks, and they're big bags, quite big bags. So you've got the option of 2 K13s, 57mm rocket pods at the same time, and then 2 bags. Okay, we're gonna extend out a bit and slow down. There are a lot of weird kind of quirks of this aircraft, being, I believe it was the first in-service supersonic interceptor in the world. Certainly the first Soviet supersonic interceptor, so there's some really weird shit with it. Like the fact you have to press a button every time you want to go from mil power to afterburner. coming in a bit fast, a bit high. So we will pop the brakes out for a bit and just ride them down. This is a fairly short runway. Come on. And my playlist is repeating songs again. We may overshoot the runway here. I should have gone around. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. I was gonna let the playlist go through. Like, I'm sorry if it's annoying that it repeats shit, but I haven't figured out a way around that yet, and I don't want to be tabbing out all the time, so... Unless it gets really obnoxious, I'm just gonna leave it. This is part of the reason I haven't been using this playlist as much. Because the other one repeats less. Gear lever actually neutral? I think it is, yeah. Like the MiG-21, it has a neutral position on the gear handle, but it appears to return to it automatically most of the time. Which I think is just Razbam simplifying controls. I don't think it actually had an automatic, like, spring-loaded catch or anything. The flaps up. We don't need them anymore. I'll park up next to these guys. Handles pretty well on the ground. It's just differential braking for steering like the MiG-21, but it's pretty responsive. The turning circle is quite good. Probably be even better if I use differential thrust. But I can't be bothered unlocking my throttles and locking them back up, so that's fine. We don't need to turn that sharply. Although, as usual, I'm parked crooked. Good enough. What is going on here? There we go. There we go. Nice and easy. The wheel brakes squeak. No, my joystick paddle switch squeaks. So there we are. Pretty slick aircraft. Very shiny too. So, as I was saying before, it seems that the ailerons and the rudder are fully mechanical, or at least mostly mechanical, whereas the pitch is hydraulic. So I have no pitch control without the engine. And with the power off. So there we go. Yeah, it's not my rudder pedal squeaking, it's the pinky switch on my Warthog, which I use for the brake lever. What other missions do we have? Oh, we got a bunch of them. So that was the high altitude air intercept. What I will do is we'll load up my practice mission and we'll see how we go against an F5. Okay, that's already set up. Put our cockpit illumination on because it looks really cool. Don't know if you can see him, but he's pretty much right off the nose, slightly above me. Check the other maps for missions, good thinking. Not sure if there will be any. There's not a lot out for this aircraft in general, it seems. Not many people have it, or at least not many people who have it are making missions for it. I found a grand total, if I can speak English, of 1 custom skin for it on DCS user files. So, not many yet. I think that, or at least from what I recall, I don't think Razbam have released the official paint kit for it yet, which might be why. But still, it does seem a little neglected, which is sad, because it's a cool aircraft. It's a lot of fun. And they put a lot of effort into it. It's quite nice to fly. So he's going to try and just come at me head on again and again. Oh, I'm somewhat behind him here. When you see the AI flare like that, you're behind them. Even if nobody has any air-to-air missiles, they'll still drop flares if you get behind them. So it's a handy little hint. I may have lost him there. Which is definitely not good. There he is. First turn. She rolls really well. Snap rolls excellently. Especially if one of the wings is damaged, as you guys might have seen when I was flying against Tawny the other day. Oop, oop, oop. Almost stalled it. Gotta be careful with high angles of attack. I'm really having trouble with my words today, I don't know why. I'm not in burner at all at the moment, I'm just at mill power. I don't want to get too fast, it's very easy to do in this against an F5 because you just have so much more power. I'm pretty sure the F5's maximum level speed is slightly higher, but the MiG-19 accelerates very, very well for its age. Accelerates well, climbs well, and it's relatively quick. So that's a radar that's just picked him up there, he's inside the lockbox. And I couldn't quite hold the nose on him. But we've got the burners on now, so we should be able to get some power in and follow him up. And see him doing the standard AI vertical loops now. Although he's kind of nosed over to one side, which is interesting. I find the radar gun sight isn't perfect, especially for engaging small targets like the F5 that move quite fast. It could just be my aim's not quite there yet, but I tend to just try and get close and use the either use the gyro sight or cage it and just figure out the deflection myself the old-fashioned way. Here we go. See, it's falling behind him. Oh, oh, oh. No, you don't. No, you don't. Cheeky little bastard. Come here. Get the burners on again for a bit more power in the climb. See, the radar's field of vision's quite narrow. It sees slightly above the nose as well, so if he goes under your nose, you'll lose him both visually and on the radar. Come out of burner now so I don't get too fast in the dive. Start pulling the nose. There are more efficient ways of doing this, but I need to get some gunnery practice in, so hitting a target that's pulling turns like this is pretty decent for that purpose, I guess. Okay, here we go. So I'm just trying to get close enough that I can cage up the gun sight and blast him. Because these things are really quite slow firing and very low muzzle velocity. Very, very. Come on. Be careful, I don't want to lose him under the nose as well. Okay, we'll stay in burner this time through the bottom, just to get some closure. Here we go. Here we go. Ah, I was off for angle. Still not getting him. Come on. He's so lucky. So lucky. Problem is, he's running me out of fuel by doing this. When you're in burner, the MiG-19 goes through it pretty quick. Try and get him here. Just gotta get close enough without overshooting. Probably see what I mean about the gun sight being a little cagey. Come on, man. Come on. And I'm out of ammo. Well, what we can do is just run away from him. Because we are pretty good at running away. Head over towards Minvodi and land there. This apparently accelerates faster than the F4 up until a point, which I found interesting. Wonder if the AI Rio will be like Jester's dad. Make some DCS module lore there. Okay, yeah, he can't keep up with me. I got too much of a head start. How much fuel have I got? Not a lot. We're going to come out of burner. Don't see him anymore. As you can see, as you get up around the sound barrier, she starts shaking a bit. Not as much as I'd like. Reportedly, this thing was so bad at transonic speeds it was hard to fly, but all you get here is a bit of a shake. So, I'd like a little more on that, or at least an option to crank it up. Oh shit, he is trying to catch up to me. Cheeky little motherfucker. Don't make me relight my burners, dude. Now, because of the way I set this mission up, there's no friendly air defense whatsoever. So I can't bait him over a SAM site or anything. Oh shit, okay. Okay, I think we needed that piece. I think we definitely needed that piece. Oh, come on. Come on. I still have some degree of flight control, guys. I've still got both engines. If I just keep my speed up and trim it out, and come off the left engine, it's probably going to get really sloppy as I slow down, though. Oh, fuck off, dude. You've done enough. Fuck off. Let's have a look at this. This is ridiculous. Oh, no. Oh. Had to ruin the fun. I was going to try and land that. I reckon I probably could have. Ah, see what I mean? About the ejection behavior? Backwards outside loops. I don't know why it does this. Every time I eject from the MiG-19, it does that. Next time, buddy. If I hadn't wasted my ammo, I would have killed him. That was the problem there. Gotta get better with those guns. I don't know. I don't know what exactly it is. I'm fairly certain all you're supposed to do with that gun is put the gyro pipper over the radar pipper. But it's not quite right. It's still dropping behind. I need to pull lead with the gyro over the radar, and if he's in a tight vertical loop, I'm never going to hit him. Okay, let's see. Nevada, Persian Gulf. Nope, nothing. Just Caucasus. Let's do 4 vs 4 dogfight. Why not? Maybe it's to show you ejected. No, I'm pretty sure it's not meant to do that. You know, reasonably certain that's unintentional aircraft behavior. One, 2, 1 for 100. Get the lights on. Get the radar on. Get the missiles selected. 20 at 6,000. Actually, prime guns, they're already cocked. 122 for 80. Again, around transonic, she starts really shuddering a lot. Off the power a bit. Hey, Maxi Boy, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. To 2 for 50. I'd like to know how my wingmen can tell that they're 50 kilometers away when my radar goes like, what, 10 kilometers, 12, and they have the same radar set as me. What am I flying? MiG-19. What do you fly with? In terms of HOTAS, Warthog. 127 for 21. And they are co-out, roughly. Yeah, Thrustmaster Warthog. I think I see a speck off the nose. Yes, I do. Now, the thing is, our missiles are hot garbage and they're rear aspect only. They're basically like first-gen Sidewinder copies. So this is going to be a clusterfuck. We also have no RWR and no countermeasures. It picked him up frontal? What? It would never have hit, but what? Must have been a hell of a lot of air friction going on there. Okay. Now I'm going to try and figure out where the F5s went. There's one going high. I don't want to over-G the aircraft and lose my missiles. So I'm up and over. Normally you'd fire them in pairs, but I'm just going to fire one at a time at the moment. Like I said, they're pieces of shit. There we go. That's a friendly. Something down there. Oh shit. I think that's one of ours. Pretty sure that was an F5 that just went in. Okay, I think we got everything. Nope. 0804 12 at 4 kilometers. Playing the Steam edition. Yes, I'm on the Steam edition. You can play with people on the standalone client. The only thing is that the release timetables for modules are different on Steam. And some modules you can't transfer between, or you can only do it, you know, a limited number of times. You can migrate from one client to the other, but it's really kind of an involved process, so I didn't bother. If you have the Steam version, just be aware that a lot of modules will release anything between a month to 3 or 4 months after they release on standalone, and the sales are different. And yeah, I'm on open beta. Like, nobody plays stable. Absolutely nobody plays stable multiplayer. 125 for 9. Shit, I got a merge call. Seven, 2 for 7. Useless radar, especially in these mountains. May as well not have it at all. I saw something on my nose for just the faintest fraction of a second there. Tail looks okay. Why some planes cost like 60 euros, because each plane in this has such a huge amount of effort put into it. Most of the planes in DCS probably have as much work put in as a lot of standalone games, because they've got to figure out, they've got to talk to the company that made the plane, or at least get hold of all the documentation for it, work out the flight model, which is like a whole shitload of work in itself, do all the art for it. It's just ridiculous. For instance, the Hornet, especially with the amount of systems in that, there's probably as much work in the Hornet as there is in a AAA first-person shooter, basically. As for being able to tell you're on open beta in Steam, if you go to the game in Steam and right-click it and go Properties, I believe it is, there should be a tab which is like betas or optional updates or something like that, and it should have a drop-down list. And you want to opt into open beta. It's basically the same process as any other game on Steam, although most people probably don't know that feature exists because you don't use it a lot. I've lost both my wingmen and the baddies. Zero, 1, 0 for 10. Oh, sorry, 70. Jeez, reading numbers is hard. So I'd say we're probably flying out of, Beslan, Mozdok, or maybe Mykop, depending how close we are to the coast. Haven't checked the map yet. There's my flight. 2 of them at least. Go ahead and get rid of the radar. And turn off the weapons. do need to figure out how to use the navigation system on this. It's quite a... like, it's an older system, so it's a bit more complex than the MiG-21. You have to mess around with like 3 or 4 different knobs and some buttons to get it to work, whereas the MiG-21 you just select the right channel and you're pretty much set to go. You download like 9.4 gig more. Yeah. Sometimes stable and open beta are more or less the same, but I think at the moment stable is a couple of updates behind. Oh, there we go, the whole flight's here. 70 miles. Yeah, it might be Nalchik, I'd say. I would say we're flying from Nalchik. Yep, there we go. 017 for 28. So we just got to figure out where Nalchik Airport is. I think it's over... No, that's not it. It's around here somewhere. Oh, it's off the nose. It's right off the nose, I think. So if we come around in a bank, we should be able to see it on the left. Yep, there we go. Using a Phantom Hawk from Speedlink and I can't use my throttle, and in-game I can't get my Su-25T to shoot. I don't know what a Phantom Hawk is, but just double check everything's bound up. One of the issues with DCS is that there's a lot of controls to bind, and by default they're usually not bound, or they're bound to a specific stick setup, which you might not have. So every time I go to fly an aircraft for the first time, I spend like half an hour binding up controls. If you go into the main menu, or even from in-game, from in-game just go adjust controls. From the drop-down you select whichever aircraft you want to bind up, so say Su-25T, you go there, and then you've got all your different categories, so you know you want to make sure they're all bound up, and you can search for specific things in here. If you've got something missing that you need, but you have an idea what it might be called, you can just use the search function, rather than scrolling all through this. You've also got to make sure you've got things bound to the right category, so for instance, if I try and bind a button on my stick, but I'm clicking on, say, the throttle category, it won't register it. You have to make sure you click on the stick category and then hit the button. So just double check that as well. From the main menu, you go to the little settings cog, which I think is in the top left corner by default, and then from there it's like adjust controls or something like that. Found all the weapon things, still cannot do shit. In the Su-25, you might not have had the gun selected, because you've got to do that separately. Trying to think what else would affect that. If you didn't have ammo, obviously, but I think... because the Flaming Cliffs 3 modules, like the Su-25, don't simulate a master arm switch. They're like, it's always armed all the time. If your wheels are down, there's usually a ground safety, so you've got to have your wheels up to let go of any weapons, but yeah, in the Su-25, if it's bound to a button, it should work. You just got to make sure you have the right thing selected. More or less. Like, most of it's metal, but something like the buttons and stuff are mostly plastic, but it's quite solidly built. Like, you'd have a hard time breaking it. It's very heavy. Could bludgeon someone quite well with this thing if you wanted to. It's worth considering though what you're going to fly the most. So for instance, I bought the Warthog a number of years ago. If I was to buy a HOTAS now instead, and I still had the money to buy the Warthog, I'd probably go for the Verpil T-50, because I fly mostly Soviet aircraft and the control layout's totally different, and that would make more sense for flying them. I mean, it works with the Warthog, but it's not as intuitive, and it doesn't auto-bind things to the same things you would expect them to be bound to, if that makes sense. Don't get me wrong, the Warthog is a really good stick, it's just better if you're mostly going to be flying Western aircraft. If you fly Eastern stuff, you probably want to get the T-50 or one of the other similar designs, because Western and Eastern aircraft have totally different control setups, like totally different. About the F-16, the Warthog stick is actually identical to an F-16, so the throttle is different, but the stick itself is identical between the A-10 and the F-16. F-35 will probably not get added, no. That thing is under so much secrecy, it wouldn't happen. Most of the aircraft in the game, I don't think we have anything newer in terms of systems than about 2005-ish. And a lot of the airframes are like 80-0 airframes. There's no Su-35s or F-22s or anything like that, and there probably never will be. Or if there will be, it'll be in like 50 years' time when they retire them. Even some older aircraft aren't in, like for instance, we have the strike version of the Viggen, but we don't have the interceptor version, because a lot of the systems from the JA-37 have been reused in the Gripen. So that's still under secrecy and can't be put in game. Honestly, Tarnfalk, we will probably get a full fidelity 33 before then, because the 33 is, I believe, being phased out of service mostly. There are RP servers in DCS like Milsim. I mean, you can set missions up to be like Milsim if you really want to, but in terms of multiplayer, there's, like, you could do co-op Milsim stuff, I guess, but a lot of the PvP stuff tends to be a lot more fast and loose. And to be entirely honest, generally speaking, a lot of the guys who have done this for real kind of don't want to be doing it again in DCS. And then there's, you know, those of us who are just kind of weekend pilots or whatever that also don't want to be fussing too much over procedure. It's kind of like Armor, for instance. Like, I don't really like full Milsim in Armor just because it's... It takes all the parts of the army that weren't fun and adds them into something that is fun. So I think it'd be similar with this. But that's not to say like a lot of the actual procedures don't work or whatever. You can use all the correct military procedures, but the actual, like, you know, everyone strictly observing ranks and a chain of command and that doesn't really tend to happen very much unless it's a proper co-op mission or something like that. Coming in a bit fast. I think I'm on the wrong frequency to talk to the airfield, but it doesn't matter. Just make sure no one else is on the runway, I'm sure it'll be fine. This is a better looking approach, although I'm off-center. Biggest dream's always been to become a fighter pilot in the Danish Royal Air Force. I really wanted to be a fighter pilot as a kid, but my eyes are crap, so that kind of put paid to that. I ended up in the army instead. But yeah, there's a lot of guys who have flown in the military in real life who play DCS. Quite a lot, actually. And there's also a lot of guys who worked on the aircraft from the ground side of things, like maintainers and so on. So there's a lot of knowledge in the game's community, which is pretty neat. Off center, as always. Nice and smooth, though. There's the braking chute. Sci-Tech made the only F-16 stick, pressure-controlled stick, didn't move... That... I don't... Like, I wouldn't be able to get my head around that. That's always been weird to me. But, being Sci-Tech, I hope their quality control was better than it was on the X-52. Because before I had the Warthog, I had an X-52 Pro, and it was a perfectly functional stick until it wasn't. Like, the stick was good, but the quality control was fucking abysmal. And get the F-35s in 2023, and in 2024-25 is what I'm going to try for the Air Force. Nice. Well, good luck. I don't know if you've done any flying, just like, you know, civvy flying or whatever, but it's really something. One of the things I wish now is that I hadn't been so single-mindedly focused on fighters when I was younger. I wish I'd just gone into the Air Force anyway and flown even transports or something, because I have done some real-life flying. I'm not a certified pilot, I'm still a student. I've got about 50 hours in the air. And I tell you what, there's nothing else like it. Once you do it the first time, you're hooked. It's really incredible. So I kind of wish that I had just, you know, even though I couldn't fly fighters, I wish I'd just pursued a career in flying in the military, because that would have been the easiest way for me to do it. Yeah, I'd go through the tutorials. They help you with pretty much everything. You can also get, I don't know if he does them for the Flaming Cliffs 3 modules, but Chuck's guides are really good. There's also the Grim Reapers channel on YouTube, and they have a lot of video tutorials. I'm more of an air-to-air guy, so I don't really take the Su-25 out very much. But if you need to figure out any weird thing about how to do whatever with that, that's probably the place to look. I think Chuck has guides to every aircraft now, since he finally put one out for the F-14. F-65X with solid metal, awesome Hotas, still goes for 300 on eBay. Ah. Well, see, the problem I had, I don't know if it was with the software or the electronics or both, but my X-52 broke in the most bizarre way imaginable. The little LED screen on the throttle quadrant stopped lighting up even though it still worked. Or, not LED, LCD, sorry. And when I had it plugged in, get this, when I had that HOTAS setup plugged in, my internet wouldn't work, but only in my browsers. I could still play multiplayer games, I could still talk on Steam, I could still fucking, you know, voice call people on Skype or go on TeamSpeak or whatever, but I could not, in any browser, I tried all of them, could not open a web page. How a joystick breaks that is beyond me. Not only that, but after I had the stick plugged in for any length of time, when I next went to shut down my PC, it would not shut down. It would just hang on the shutdown screen. So yeah, that was what turned me off buying any more Sci-Tech products. I've heard that now that Logitech brought them out, their quality control is much better, but by that stage I was kind of soured on it, which is a shame because the X-52 stick has a lot of features which are really handy for different things. Like for World War II aircraft, it's a much better stick than the Warthog, because you've got rotaries that you can use as your trim wheels, right? Instead of the digital trim hat on the Warthog. But, yeah, like I said, kind of put me off any more Sci-Tech products, unfortunately. Oh, my music stopped. I'll fix that in just a moment. Why was that? Hmm. Okay. How are you doing what? How am I shutting things on and off? I'm clicking stuff. So, the Flaming Cliffs 3 fidelity modules, which the Su-25T and, well, the Su-25 in general, it's one of the Flaming Cliffs 3 modules, and they do not have clickable cockpits. The full fidelity modules, which are the expensive ones, well, not all of them are expensive, but they're more expensive. They all have clickable cockpits, so almost everything in here I can click on or turn or whatever. And the aircraft is much more detailed. The radar acts like an actual radar, whereas the Flaming Cliffs 3 radar is just fucked up. They're much more detailed. Much more detailed. Logitech just took all the returns and refurbed them for a while. Not many good reviews. Supposed to be better now. Yeah, well, like I said, I kind of got the Warthog now, so it's not a big deal. I'm happy with this. It works well enough. There's one of my wingmen landing. Well, taxiing. Do you have the F-16? No, the F-16 doesn't release until the end of the year, and I have not pre-ordered it. I will get it eventually, and by that I mean probably in a year or two. I'm more interested in the older Cold War aircraft, so like 60s and 70s era, and I'm a bit annoyed that they delayed the Phantom to give us the F-16 instead. So yeah, I am interested in the F-16, but not super interested in it. The main reason I want it is for nostalgia over Falcon 4, which is a sim I grew up playing. But that's about it. I'm more excited for the MiG-23. That is my big hype item at the moment. But that's probably at least a year or two away. What's the newest plane I have? In terms of when the aircraft was built, the Mirage... Oh, well, it depends. If you count the Flaming Cliffs 3 aircraft, probably one of those, like the Su-33. If you don't count Flaming Cliffs 3, the Mirage 2000 would probably be my newest. And that was, what, mid-80s, I think? Mid to late 80s that entered service? Let's see, what else we got? I was going to do something else, I totally just blanked on what. You know what, let's do a quick instant action mission in the Su-25, but it's been a very long time since I've flown it, so I probably won't remember what all the key bindings and stuff are. Have the A10? Yes, but I've never flown it. I haven't even set up controls for it, so I'm not really a ground attack guy, so on that level, like, the A10's a cool plane, but it's not really what I like doing. And the other thing is, I'm not good with digital systems, so like the avionics in American aircraft I don't like. I just straight up don't like them. It's one of the reasons why I will get the Hornet eventually, but it's like at the bottom of my priority list, basically. Most of the aircraft I fly, like the Mirage is a fly-by-wire aircraft with some digital aspects, but it's still mostly an analog cockpit. The MiG-21, which is probably my most flown module, is totally analog. The Tomcat is very old-fashioned. Like, I much prefer the older aircraft. Where are you from? I'm Canadian, but I live in Australia, so I don't have an accent anymore. I've lived here for about 22 years. So I was born in Canada, I moved to the UK for a couple of years, and then I moved out here. I wish I hadn't moved out here, I don't like it. I would have much rather stayed in Europe or in Canada. Okay. That's not what I want. Where's my actual gun sight? That's not it. I think... No, that's it, okay. Got my bomb selected. Oh, he's gonna do that again. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to do that. I've still got to figure out how the bombs work on this. I can never seem to get them to release when I want them to. I don't think I hit anything there. Yeah, the problem is those bombs sometimes won't come off the racks unless you hold the trigger. But then if you hold the trigger too long, you start firing rockets, which, you know, isn't optimal. Well, someone hit something. Unfortunately, DCS doesn't simulate splash damage or shrapnel very well, so ground attack is kind of janky. I think there's one left. We're going to go to the gun for that. I think my wingman may have just, or wingman may have just hit the last target. Yeah, you can turn that on in some planes with right shift P. A lot of people prefer to leave it off because it does get in the way sometimes, but I tend to put it on just for, you know, immersion's sake. Not all aircraft have it though. Okay. Now, where did those Mi-24s go? There's some Hinds hanging around, which I'd like to take out of the equation. Of course, without a radar, I'm relying on the old Mark 1 eyeball to spot them, which is not the best thing to be using to spot a pair of helicopters. They might be behind us. He's calling out something behind us, but I don't know if it's those helicopters. You know what? Screw the helicopters. We're gonna just run in on the ground targets. I should probably actually coordinate my turns a bit. Part of my thing with older technology is that I fly the original Su-25. I don't have the Su-25T set up yet. Well, I think we found one of the Hinds. Yep. Behind us somewhere. It's basically over the target. Maybe use my own flares there as a visual cue to figure out where he is. Aha! There we go. The other one's shooting at me. That's rude. Oh shit, he hit me too. Damaged one. circle back in for the other. Down to do a co-op mission? I don't think I have any co-op missions at the moment. Usually I fly PvP stuff if I'm going to fly online. I just find it more fun. There's a shitload of co-op servers up though, which are full of guys that actually know how to do ground attacks, so if you want to get good at the Su-25, that would be the place to do it probably. Now I've lost sight of the target, there it is. Whoops. There's the helicopter. Got him. Yeah, the Hoggett Georgia War server is really good for co-op stuff. If you go on Reddit and go to the Hoggett subreddit, the password and details for it are up there. It's a co-op PvE mission, so it's pretty good for practice and trying out different aircraft, and there's a lot of air-to-ground work to be doing there. If you're more into PvP stuff, but you still want to do ground attack in the Su-25, you can go on DDCS, which is a persistent campaign PvP server. There's a lot of ground targets going around in there. Really like this community, nobody's a complete asshole. Yeah, it's a pretty good community, especially the Twitch part of it, because there's not many of us that actually stream the game, so most of us know each other in some way or other. You do occasionally run across people who have a bit of an attitude on them, but even then it's nowhere near as bad as some other games. Just double check my wingman's still actually doing his job. Can't even see where the targets have gone. Oh, there we go. There's the convoy. Yeah, Skittles, I don't fly the 25T. I haven't even found it yet. I need to, because it's good for seed, but I prefer the old school 25. I want some Afghan missions flying this bad boy. Covered by 23s. That would make me a very happy boy. Okay, my wingman is indeed killing stuff. I set my throttles so it works. You've got to just play with the controls, honestly. Like, binding up controls is probably the biggest headache when it comes to playing DCS. But once you get them bound, it's usually pretty much set from there. Whoop, 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 whoop. Come on. And we missed. I'm hopeless with these things. So that was a laser-guided missile. The problem is I didn't have the laser pointed at the right thing because I'm incompetent at ground attack. And it's actually, because the 25 doesn't, or the original model Su-25 doesn't have a TV camera, you have to line it up by eye. So you do it as you're rolling in. It doesn't give you a lot of time to get lined up. Whereas, say with the 25T, I could have lined that out 3 or 4 miles away. Have a good one, see ya. Thanks for stopping by, man. Hopefully you can get your controls sorted and jump into DCS, because it is really fun once you get past the initial headaches. And it is always good to see more people in the game. I think that they're just on the edge of town now. Okay. I think that that's them. Oh, come on. Oop, wrong weapon selected. This is why I don't do ground attack very often. I am hopeless. Make sure I've got the right weapon actually selected this time, and not the gun. Which village were they coming through? Or it was this one, wasn't it? Yeah, I see them. Okay. Still got my gun selected somehow. Barely got out of that one. Why is it... Yeah, I hear you on that one, Mike. I was under the impression that I wasn't supposed... I'll start that again. I wasn't supposed to be getting old man pains until I was at least in my 40s or so. I'm not even 30 yet, and I can barely move. I mean, there's most likely a medical reason for that. My sister's certainly got one, but still, not what I expected from life. Where are they? I think... Okay, yeah. I got one. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And I can't use it because I'm too close. Ah, these missiles are such a pain. Such a pain. You know what, we're just gonna strafe him. At least we know the gun's working, although I don't know how much ammo I've got. And I think there's still another wave or two after this, so... I gotta work on my efficiency in the 25. There he is. Gun is empty. That would have been nice to know. I really need to work on coordinating my turns in the Su-25. I'm such a clumsy flyer in it. I mean, to be fair, it's an Su-25. It's probably not that big of a deal, but still. Now, which road was it he was coming down? Oh, there he is. It's going to be too close to fire. I'm just going to try and line up straight down the road. Back, I don't know how to join a server. Okay, so you go to multiplayer, and the server list should come up. Make sure you got all your filters turned off, otherwise you're not going to see them. And then once you find a server you like, just double click it. Should let you in. Certain servers will be passworded, or they'll need certain things. There's also, the game has what it calls an integrity check, which is if you have certain files modded, the game won't let you join a lot of servers, which shouldn't be an issue if you've only just started playing, but it can be a problem. See none? Make sure you're logged in. If you don't have a DCS account, you'll need one. And you'll need to log in with that. It's kind of a clunky system, but even with the Steam version, you still have to do it. I don't know why. Can I spot him, please? When your target's a military truck and the entire road is full of military trucks now. Oh boy, it's the meme song. Pom has still never been here at the stream when this song is played. He's the reason it's on the playlist, and he's never been here to listen to it. Typical. I'm never gonna see this truck. Not from this angle. Okay. Where is it? That might be it there. Actually, that's probably not it. That's probably some random civvy car. Let's just hit whatever that is anyway. If it'll let us fire. No, it won't. I don't know, man. These missiles. I've done something that's put it out of configuration and now it won't fire. And, oh god, I am out of fuel just about. We're gonna just, yikes, out of here, and go land. If I have enough fuel to make it back to Sukumi. Whoops. Now we see how far we can get on 500 liters, or sorry, 500 kilograms of fuel. Still can't find any. I'm not sure what would be causing that. If you're logged in on your DCS account, you should be able to see them. I do know that at times the login server has issues, and so I've gone to look for servers and found nothing, but that doesn't happen very often, so I don't know if that would be the problem. It should make a difference if it's through Steam. As long as it's on the right version, it should still find the same servers as the standalone. Well, Wingman's doing something at least. Really got to use a lot of rudder to coordinate this thing. Okay, I'm just gonna put this thing on autopilot, or what passes for it. That's not autopilot. I forgot I didn't rebind that in this plane. I cannot remember what the default bind is. It should surely just be A. Shift A? No. Control A? No. Does this thing have... It should have an auto trimmer. Looks like it does. Oh, whatever. We'll just kind of trim it straight and level to fly this direction. And quickly go look at our wingman. He's still got most of his weapons. Well, we'll let him do that, and I'm gonna go land at Sukumi and rearm and refuel. Gonna go multiplayer or see a ton of servers? Yeah, I see a ton as well. I don't know, it might just be a setting somewhere that I've forgotten about. It's been a long time since I've had to adjust anything. $350 kilograms remaining, should be plenty. Sukumi is just up ahead on this little bit of land that pokes out here, I believe. Yep, there's Sukumi right there. We're just gonna do a straight in. If he wants me to go runway 30, we're gonna go straight in. MiG-23 much. The mod, a little bit. The flight model is a bit janky, and there's some other issues, but like it's neat to have, but it's like still got a hell of a long way to go. Honestly, a hell of a long way. So I don't fly it that much. Also because it's the UB, it doesn't really do a whole lot. It has very limited ground attack, which you know I'm not into, and other than that, all it has is heaters because it doesn't have a radar. I think if you can get it, like get all the extra stuff working, once Cuban gets things like manual wing sweep in, it'll be more interesting to play, but at the moment it's like too much of the systems are automated because they're kind of abstracted out from at the moment from the SC3 basis that I think he's working off of. I've spotted a few issues with the controls as well. Like, for instance, there's a lot of stuff when it comes to the wings. There's a lot of stuff wrong with that. I don't know if he doesn't know, or if he just hasn't been able to fix it. So like the F-14, the flaps should not come down if the wings are swept. The spoilers should not deploy if the wings are swept. All the wing control surfaces, the trailing edge control surfaces, they're all full-length flaps. But at the moment, he's treating the outboard sections as ailerons, which they're not. It's all flat. The control system of the MiG-23, at least broadly speaking, in terms of the layout, is very similar to the F-14. So when the wings are back, you're flying it with the tail. So there's parts of it which, you know, really aren't there, and then there's things like the landing gear. I expected the landing gear animation to be really shonky, but it's actually quite good. So it's a bit hit and miss at the moment, but hopefully he'll be able to keep working on it and get over some of the hurdles, because I know that it is probably a bitch for one dude to work with DCS. Especially coming from, like, I guess an amateur background. I don't think he's really done much stuff other than mods before. I'm also keeping an eye on the MiG-25 mod, because that looks like... I think those guys are coming from FSX or something, so they probably have a fair bit of experience when it comes to more complicated bits of flight modeling. So that should be interesting to see. I'm way high. and way fast. This is like the world's worst landing approach, by the way, guys. Don't do this. Don't do this. Also reasonably sure I deployed the flaps and gear a bit too fast, but oh, 2 just got his ass kicked or ran out of fuel, one of the 2. Should be out. I can't see behind me, of course, because I'm in a Su-25. Oh. Yep, shoots out. Let's get some cockpit lights on. They're pretty dim in this, actually. Now, I'm not sure which units are left out there, but there's obviously some left, otherwise I would have got the mission completion, so we'll have to go finish the job, and they will probably be in the city by the time I get back in the air. So, it'll be interesting. This thing, it makes you seasick when you're taxiing it. It wobbles around so much. And it shakes so much as well. The shake in this is really obnoxious. Like, other aircraft don't shake enough on the ground, and this shakes way too much. Okay, I've got to shut it down to actually rearm, because Flaming Cliffs 3. I've got to wait for the engines to spool down as well. So that's an S-25L. We'll get rid of those in favour of P-tabs. Oh. Oh. Yeah, boy. And there's no more air threats. Oh, mind you, yeah, there's nothing else we can put on there. We'll get rid of these bombs as well and replace them with more rockets, probably. We'll replace them with some big boy rockets. And that's going to... Oh, once I get fuel in, that's going to leave me underweight still. There we go. That should pretty much set us up. So there's my plane. You can see I've got some minor damage on the nose there from where that... Oh, I wonder if that's why the laser-guided missiles wouldn't track. He probably fucked up my laser. I bet you that's what it was. That's probably why I couldn't get rid of the other R-25. Okay. Here's one of the Hinds we shot down. It did actually land somewhat safely. Oh, both of them did. Impressive. What do we got for ground targets? Oh, that's not how we do that. Okay, well I'm just not going to press that button then. That's my Steam screenshot key. Oh, I know. We can go into the map. And then we can go to... Which city is it they're going to? I totally forget. They started from near Sanaki, I think it was. Somewhere around here is where they started. I think they're going into this area, maybe? Oh no, here we go, here they are. I'm blind. They're going into Zugdidi. So if we go, was it Control F11 or Shift F11? It is Control F11, I believe. Except we're super high up, and I have no idea how to not be super high up. Something's on fire down there. Not even close to done refueling yet. Oh, no, we are done. Disregard me, I guess. So we should start seeing some weapons go on now. I'm not going to bother repairing, even though it means I don't have the laser. I think I am carrying another pair of Kar-25s, but that's okay. We probably won't need them. If we do, I might just have to see if I can dumbfire them somehow. It's either the laser or the guidance computer, or like the aircraft side of the guidance computer that's not working. Not sure which. I do like the way this rocks on its suspension as it's being armed, though. That's pretty cool. We're just going to take off from this end of the runway. So I'll taxi off this, do a turnaround down the other end, take off back towards the objective. Track IR's a little janky today. Well, it's not actually my track IR, it's my headset. Because it's very, very loose. I need to get a new one. Okay. Let's start going. I don't know why my plane is rubber banding. That's very strange. And slightly concerning. Might just be one of those Su-25 things. Got some damage across the wings as well, nothing too serious. So I'm going to backtrack down the runway and then chuck a Yui and take off. Also going to reset my trim before I forget. Make sure I've got the right pylon selected. I was looking at the wrong thing because I'm a genius. Interesting. I think I've accidentally put two separate types of bombs. Yes, I have. I've got two different types of bombs. Whatever, we'll roll with it. I'm sure it'll be fine, right guys? I'm sure it will be just fine. Okay, we're gonna slow down a bit and turn around here. And try not to wing stand. snaking down the runway in typical Su-25 fashion. This really is quite concerning the way it seesaws back and forth on its gear like this. It really is. Came off the ground just in time to avoid bursting the tyres. And we should be good to go now. So I'm going to try and figure out where those ground units are and just bomb the general area they're in with anti-tank bomblets, and then we'll go in with our unguided rockets, and finally, if that doesn't kill them, the laser-guided missiles. And we're probably going to get shot down doing it, because they do have a Shilka with them, I believe. And they're also in BTRs, which, you know, have a 14.5mm machine gun of their own. Lovely. One wheel and nose gear, yeah, I know, right? Scuffed bicycle. Actually, I'd love to have... Well, we have the Harrier, but I'd love to have something else with bicycle gear to fly. Either a Myashev M4, or a U2. We're not going to get either of those things. It's totally beyond the realms of fantasy, but I just like bicycle gear for some reason, and both of those aircraft appeal to me a lot. MiG-23 too? No, the MiG-23 is not bicycle. MiG-23's tricycle. It's just... The MiG-23's landing gear is kind of weird. It's a very narrow aircraft. You would think it would be bicycle gear by how narrow it is, but it's not. It's tricycle gear. If you... Yeah, if you go on YouTube, there's videos of the MiG-23's gear. It's very impressive, like really impressive mechanically. There's like 3 different points of articulation just to get it tucked into such a small space. Very fancy. Need a U2, yeah, but good luck ever getting one. There's a lot of very cool planes I'd love to have that we will never get, either because they're too secret or they're too complex. And the M4 and the Vulcan fall under too complex, while the U2 probably falls under too secret. Slight roll because of the asymmetrical loadout, that's alright. We'll build some altitude and try and do a scuffed dive bombing attack on these guys. It looks like they're moving pretty slow, so who knows, I might actually hit them for once. And I think that might round out the stream. Sorry, after I've done this, it might round out the stream. I'm kind of tired, need some dinner, so might make it a short one today. I'll probably be on much longer tomorrow. So, probably do some more IL-2 tomorrow as well. If I get on early enough, I'll be flying with CJ in IL-2 and then migrate to DCS after that. Probably do some more MiG-19, maybe some other stuff too. You get on base at Davis Mountain, there's a U2 static display. There was a U2 in, was it Duxford or somewhere else? It was one of the RAF museums. They had a U2 suspended from the ceiling, which I found very impressive as a child. I always liked that plane when I was a kid, always. I don't know if it was the funny, you know, really really wide wingspan, narrow wings, or the weird, funny, elongated fuselage, or the bicycle gear, or just the fact it was painted black all over, but I really like that plane. It's one of my favourite things to go see though. We're getting close. I'm totally cheating with this, I know. Naughty, naughty. But my, the thing is, like, the navigation aids in the FC3 aircraft are pretty fucked up. So you can't tell which beacon it's homing on, only that it's homing on a beacon. You have to like do some ass-backwards maths to work out what it's homing on. So it just makes it redundant. It's easy to just use F10. Okay. First cross intersection in town. They're south of that. Just trying to figure out. Can I see the river? No. River's under my nose. So we're gonna off power, brake on, put the laser rangefinder on. Okay. Shit. Just try and do some quick maths. Okay, they're past the small river. I think I know where they are. They'll be on the road coming in here. I think I actually see one of them, maybe? Oh, no, I see them. They're still outside the edge of town, basically. This is probably gonna miss. I'm pretty hopeless with bombs. Oh! I think I got the trailing vehicle, which I think may have been the Shilka. Yep, Su-25. Okay, where is... Oh, this is probably gonna get the fucking VOD muted. I really like this song, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna get me muted. Okay. Well, I think their air defense is out of commission. So it should just be a pair of BTRs now, I think. Or maybe, yeah, two of them, it looks like. Oops, that's not what I wanted to select, but I think I got rid of the bomb. I honestly can't tell. Is it still on the pylon? No. Okay, it went. I just didn't see it go off. And those are the BTRs firing at me now. I think I got another. Just the lead vehicle. Oh, no. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. If I've still got ammo left after dealing with these guys, I might go hit those crash times. You know, deny the enemy. Standard excuse for wanting to make things explode that don't really need to explode, technically. Okay, I think that's him under my nose, so I'm probably not going to get a shot quick enough. Unless... oh, no, that's him right there. That should have got him. And a bunch of school children, probably. Well, something's burning down there. But if it was him, it probably would have given me the objective completed. Oh, something's still shooting at me too. I'm on Slowpoke, get your nose around. Yeah, I definitely blew something other than my intended target up there. But oh well. Such is life in the former Soviet Union. Where is this fucking BTR? Oh, right under me. Please don't hit me. That's him right out in front of that large building. I think he's going to turn down the side street, the next left for him. I think. Yeah, but, you know, it's easy to just blow them up. And it's more authentically Russian to just blow them up. So that's what I'm going to do. Be careful not to stall out here. Coming in quite steep like this. Where is this fucker? There he is. Oh, no, that's not him. That's a bus or something. Ah, fuck! He's behind a tree. I might run in from this side. I didn't think this through. The smoke's gonna block my vision. Motherfucker, okay. He's here. Right here. And I'm out of rockets, wouldn't you know it? How's my fuel? Okay-ish. We'll get some distance, and we'll see if we can get the radar guide, or not the radar guide, the laser guided missiles to work. I think the damage I took from those Mi-24s might have knocked them out though. Or might have knocked out the targeting system, so we're gonna try. We definitely have them selected and the gun in reserve, so they should work. Okay, I think that's him. That big dot in the middle of the road. If I could just hold the aircraft steady, that would be really nice. Oh, yes! Yes! Go, my beautiful, beautiful missiles. Smack. Eat shit. Okay, so they were working. Now we go guns, and we go find those Mi-24 wrecks. I think one of them's on the edge of town. They should both be near where the red smoke was. They'll be in, like, this town or near it. Gun should be selected. I think. Oh. Your boy cooked the laser rangefinder. It's fine. Okay, we're just gonna use the old school gun sight, I guess. I forgot you can't just leave that thing on. It does warm up pretty quick. Press the link. Yeah, you can post links. So, I've come across a complication in my plan, which is it's really fucking hard to see a crash-landed Mi-24 from the air when you're moving this fast. I think one of them's probably around there somewhere. And one might be... no. Oh! Actually, yeah, this is the, this is where we were originally attacking, so it'll be somewhere this way. It'll be around here, off my nose somewhere. There's one! The other was on the edge of a town, I think. So he'll be somewhere around here, probably. I'm slightly annoyed I'm stuck with the old school gun sight. Slightly annoyed. But it's my own dumb fault. Why is my... oh, there we go. Apparently I was pressing the wrong button. Work that one out. I thought I had this bound. Why is it not working? Just DCS things. Come back around. Because at least now I know where he is. Okay, we got our rangefinder back now. Pretty sure the crew wouldn't have survived that. Nor would the helicopter. Where's the other one? Definitely saw the other one land in the edge of a village. I just cannot remember which village. And it's going to be really difficult to pick out amongst the buildings. I'm at a loss. Might run in on the other one again and just head back home. Oh, actually, he might be on the edge of this one, maybe. So there's the one I was strafing just then. It's either the edge of this town or the edge of the one on the left, I suspect. I think that's the only place he could have gone down. Because I shot them both down in the same general area. I saw one veer off to a town, the other went down right there in the field. No, we'll just go for the easy target again. Screw it. We are 1,200 kilograms of fuel, so we'll just make this run and head back. If I can pick him up visually, there he is. And then lose him in the glare. Good enough. Oops. I'm gonna go Sanaki. I'm gonna go to Sakumi. I might move my head position up a little in this, so it's like up here, where I can see over the nose better. Yeah, I definitely need to. So make sure it's pulled nice and far back, not too far, but nice and far back, and we'll raise it up to about there. That's good. There we go. So now I can see over the nose much better. And then if I need to hunker down, see through the gun sight or whatever, I can still do it. Actually, might... kind of tempted to angle it up as well, if I can do such a thing. I don't think I can. Oh, yes I can. Excellent. That feels better. So now I can just glance down to see my instruments, but most of my view is outside the cockpit. And I can see under myself easier. If I just lean over, I can see almost right under myself. A lot of the default head positions in DCS are pretty shit, so I tend to move them around quite a bit. Oh, we're overspeeding again. Well, not really overspeeding, just the aircraft's getting a little bumpy. Oh, my music. No. So I'll go set her down, and that will do me for the evening, I think. Hopefully we will survive this landing. It will be mighty embarrassing if I fuck it up somehow. All our weapon stations are empty, except for the R60s. Crap, and they change for every aircraft, yeah. So I usually just alter them and find a position that's comfortable and save it. In a lot of aircraft, in basically everything I pull it back, so I can see more. And I don't have my face crammed up into the HUD or the gun sight. And in a lot of them I tend to lift it a bit as well. So the Spitfire I brought back and up, see over the nose, and see more outside the cockpit. This is obviously back up and then angled upwards as well. MiG-21 is just straight back a bit. MiG-19 is back and up, I believe. I do it in aisle 2 as well. Okay, we're going to come off the power. There's Sakumi off my nose. We're going to be landing on runway 30. So from this end, just going to use the air brakes to make sure I don't come in too fast again this time. And we'll kind of snake in. I can't get off the ground, the 21, without popping tyres. You want to rotate around 280, 300 kilometers an hour. If you're on the ground still above, I think it's about 320, you're going to burst the tyres. So, you want to be coming off the ground sooner. The problem with the 21 is it accelerates pretty well on the ground, and there's a very fine line between not having enough speed once you rotate and having too much speed and bursting the tyres. It's a very fine balancing act. Even now I still have bad 21 takeoffs all the time. Yeah, I've had that problem a few times in this. The thing makes me just about seasick on the ground as well. Wobbles back and forth like crazy. Okay, cool, don't answer me. Oh, now they clear me. Okay. Sloppy as fuck approach, as usual. We're coming in high and ballooning a bit, so I'm going to pop the air brakes out. Thankfully, this is a fairly decent runway, both in width and length. There we go. Make sure we're under 280 for the chute, and that slows us right down. Very effective, the chute on this thing. Whoop! Oopsie daisies. Don't mind me. I got a bit carried away with the nose wheel steering though. Yeah, I want to, I need to get around to doing it. I was going to make a mission or just edit tourneys or something and have a fight where you can get the Su-25 with just full loadout of gun pods, because it would be hilarious to watch. It'll be terrible, but it'd be hilarious. That burst warbirds. Not a bad idea, actually. Might be overkill against the warbirds, to be honest. Firepower, at least. Performance, they'd probably outfly at that point. Have that much extra weight on it. I've never actually used the gun pods on the 25, to be honest. I haven't flown it that much, which is why, but I'll have to get on it, make that mission, or, you know, add it to the dogfight. So to recap, we did take some hits in the first sortie, which I didn't bother repairing, so I've got some holes in the wings, and the nose is a bit messed up, but we are otherwise okay. I wonder what would happen. Oh, it won't let me. I was gonna see if I could jettison the R60s on the ground. But apparently that doesn't work. What a shame. Pretty sure you can even slave them to the targeting pod. I know they elevate and depress. Well, depress mostly, I don't think they elevate. But that's pretty cool. When we finally get the MI-24, I'm assuming it's going to get those. It should get those. And that will be very interesting. Because they'll be very well suited to the Hind. Okay, I think we're good here. Just a little bit more. Come on. There we go. Ah, there we are. Home safe and sound. Alright guys, I'm gonna see who's on and we will do a little raid, I guess. It's usually pretty quiet this time of night. Ooh, looks like Pom is on. Guess where we're all going. There we go. Remember to actually press the button this time, because otherwise it takes forever to go through. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you at some point tomorrow.